What? We have extra production quality only for 808 with glide. Let's see. We can play now. Nice. Okay, I've never had two cameras, but this is really great. We're gonna have the two cameras so you can see what I'm playing. Hi everyone, my name is Adam and welcome to Ask the Producer series. Today, we're going to answer the question how to make your song sound a little bit modern and current. Coming as no surprise, trap and hip-hop just in general has been going through all contemporary music. So what I wanted to do today is kind of show you a little bit of the tricks with an 808 with glide so you can apply this in your own productions. So let's jump into it. So first off, we have an 808 with glide loaded up. So as you can see here, also as I'm playing, I'm just going to pull a couple of loops in so we can hear something along with the 808. So I'm going to go for high fashion powers. And I want no bass on this one because I'm going to be playing it myself. Another lovely thing we can do now is also to add a drum track. But honestly, I don't want to program it myself at the moment. So I'm just going to use the Smart Drummer feature that we have in the studio. So click here to open up a MIDI track. It is going to be selected automatically. Now, listening to this by itself is kind of getting to the same lines that I want to go for. However, I am not feeling the kit as much. Maybe let's go with the succulent kit and see. Okay. Nice. So if you're going into programming your first 808, what you can do is that you can record it yourself and like kind of figure something out for yourself playing around. I have figured out that this loop uses these two notes. Those are the only ones. So we have a B flat and we have an F. So I'm going to be playing around with these notes. Also, I'm going to jump octaves between them as well. So you can see here. One trick that I'm going to show you immediately when you're using an 808 with glide, how the glide works is that you hold down first one note and then another. And you hear it glide in between the two, right? So one thing to actually take note of here is that you can play around with this and make a lot of these glide movements when you're just holding down one note and just pressing a couple of others. So I'm going to do that now. Just hold down the root note, which is this one. And then I am going to. And then you can do even faster ones like just like that. Super simple. So I'm going to jam something out. And then I'm going to show you another trick on how to get started with your 808s. But just from playing around, we get something along the lines of this. So now we have something played out, and this is just me playing around with it. Now we can quantize these, make sure that everything fits on exactly where it's supposed to be. So another trick that you can do to make this a little bit easier, for those of you that aren't that comfortable with playing a keyboard, you can instead do this. You can add a new track, add a drums and machines, but instead choose the Patterns Beat Maker. This is just based off of how these things work under the hood. So now that I have this, I can copy this drum region, paste it on the new one, the Tasty, and here I'm going to be able to go into the piano roll, and here I can see all of the kick hits. So here we have them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into that, copy it. Now I can just completely delete that drum track that we had. Go into the Crush 808. So as we get into the piano roll, I'm just going to add a note here so we get a region to work with. And we can now go in and just add all of the notes. So here we can see them. They're at C1. We have just copied over the kick pattern from the drum loop into the bass. I'm going to pull this to the B flat that we had. And now we have this. And now I want to move these because these are the F that I talked about before. So I'm going to pull this down to an F. Simplified, we're just allowing the kick pattern to trigger the 808, but in key. But we're not getting any glides there. So what can we do? We wanted to maybe simplify this a little bit. So now we have a lot of hits here where the 808 is coming in. Instead, we can just like drag these out. So let's say we have this one. I don't need the second one here. I'm just going to drag this out. And you can do a little bit of a trial and error here. So I'm just listening to this first part. I'm a fan of those two double hits. This might be a little bit much. But what we can do here is we can drag this out and make a glide out of it. So I'm going to pull that one out and I'm going to add another note at the octave here, but I wanted to slide back down. So now we get this instead. And then we can add more notes even if we want to. So maybe I'll do that. I'll move this one over here, drag it out, use the same technique that we had there, but I want a little bit more notes. So let's go here and here. And then pull these down so they are shorter. I don't want them to be too long. So now we're going to go from this one up to this one, down to that one, and then back down again. So now we get this. And we go with the same idea over here. So instead of, I'm going to be a little bit lazy now, and I'm going to just copy all of these notes that we programmed in. And I am going to pull and copy these. So now we have this. Basically, we've made a 808 pattern out of the kick pattern, and they match really well, giving the bass and the kick a little bit of extra thump because they're playing together. One thing you want to avoid a little bit is to have these not working as well together. What I mean with that is if you watch a couple of weeks ago's video about letting everything have its space in a production, we can actually do this by listening to the Succulent kit and go into the effects panel. We can add the visual EQ, open it up, and once we play this, we can see where the kick is going to live. So currently we have a pretty hard spike on 100. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into the Crush 808. I'm going to go to the effects and I'm going to add the visual EQ. And where I saw that spike on the kick, I want to pull that down in the 808. So I'm going to go to 100 and then I'm going to pull that one down. Now we can have it playing together and it's going to sound a little bit less kind of muddy. So the kick really punching through and the bass is there to kind of like fill everything back up again. Now that we have the full track, we're just going to listen to it. And there we have it. So that's a very, very, very simplified way of using a 808 with glide and kind of getting your patterns to stick with the drums and make them play well together. With that said, if you have any more questions or want me to make another video in the Ask the Producer series, leave your questions down below because we really appreciate it and we want to be able to interact with you, help all of you out there with your journey in music production. So let's get to it. Ask those questions down below and I will see you in the next one. Peace out.